All right, I have two microphones, the SM7B, the famous YouTube mic, podcast mic, and I also have this guy right here, the Gauge ECM 87 U87 clone. Let's shoot them out. Okay, so there's a few things that I'm actually trying to test out today. I'm gonna test out what these microphones sound like together, both this one and the Gauge. I mean, honestly, this Gauge mic sounds so nice, but this Gauge mic as well. You guys know that I am a music producer, and if you don't, and if you're new here, I make music. I've been making music for almost 20 years. I've done movies supported by Skrillex. I'm going to test out these microphones because I'm trying to figure out, should I use my U87 clone or keep using my SM7B for the music that I'm writing? And also too, I'm moving soon, and so I bought one of these. This is a little like Melon Studio, kind of like pop filter, vocal booth kind of deal. So what we're gonna do is test out what they sound like compared to each other, and then what this one sounds like raw plus with this one. So let's go ahead and record some vocals really quick. We're gonna do a couple of things for this test to be fair. Okay, first things first is the U87 is here on this first channel, and I had to bring the level to a certain point so that it was like fair, so that there's nothing on there either besides this. So all we have is this, and then we have this set to high, and then the levels kind of matched. Same thing with the SM7B. You could see I had to gain this quite a bit because this microphone, the SM7B, is actually quite quiet. So I gained it all the way up, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna record these right now side by side.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose. Wish I could be honest, but it's hard. Oh, it's hard when I overthink.
Okay, cool. So we've got that. Okay, next we got to record with the filter on. Let's go ahead and do that.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose. Wish I could be honest, but it's hard. Oh, it's hard when I overthink.
Okay, so without the music and anything else, we're just going to listen to these back to back and see what they sound like. Okay, so here's the first one with no filter.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose.
Okay, that was pretty good. You could hear the plosives are kind of like coming out a lot because there is no pop filter, so kind of makes sense. But the room is not super loud. We'll listen to the SM7B first. Let's compare those two, and then we'll come back and compare the other ones. So let's go ahead and mute that.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose.
Okay, so I think the big thing here between the SM7B, the dynamic microphone, and the unfiltered ECM87 is that there's the plosives there, so that's going to be annoying for compression and low end. So that's going to be super annoying, so I probably don't want to deal with that. Although, let's listen to the brightness. We're just going to focus in on the brightness.
I don't wanna run from you.
Okay, now let's go ahead and listen to this one, because that's a really bright line.
I don't wanna run from you.
So there is brightness there in the SM7B, but it's not quite as bright. There's a lot more air, so I kind of like that, and I like that because then there's less I have to do for clarity in the mix. All right, so let's go ahead and now listen to without the filter, with the filter. So this is with the filter.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose.
It's funny because this one is like just louder in general, because I think it's kind of like holding in some of the sound and a little more consistent. So there is probably like a little bit of a acoustic like compression happening there, where it's kind of like holding in the sound a bit more, which is kind of cool. So it's giving me a little bit more consistency without compression. ECM with the filter in the mix.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose.
Okay, so that's the ECM87, SM7B. Let's go ahead and turn it up as well.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. This one cuts through.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. The ECM87 cuts through way more. Now, that's what you're going to get with a large diaphragm condenser, though. You're going to get that air. You're going to get like a lot of presence, like a lot of clarity as well. So the ECM87 obviously takes the cake on the breadth and the airiness of it, which is why a lot of producers and a lot of singer-songwriters and even pop artists will use condenser microphones. But don't let this fool you. You could get a lot out of this. Actually, all of the music that I've recorded in the last year has been recorded on this microphone, even though I've had this microphone, this ECM87 with me. It's just been too loud. The space that I was in was not treated, and it was like, it's hard to record that. Now, the reason why I would go with the SM7B, if you're thinking about it, is because if you're in a space where you can't treat it, or if you're in a space where it's just like noisy, this is such a quiet microphone that like it's really good for that. And it's also very focused as well, as opposed to this cardioid pattern here. I mean, this is also a cardioid pattern, but the way it's kind of set up is actually really good. Quiet spaces, because of how quiet it is. You're able to get into a little bit more of a quiet room. Like this room is semi-quiet. It's not super quiet. It's not treated at all. And it just sounds pretty good coming through, even with one of these Melon Audio kind of things, or Melon Studio things. So actually, I think this is the setup that I'm going to use for when I'm recording vocals, because I don't have to do as much in the top end. So normally when I'm recording, this was recorded on this SM7B, and this is with all the processing and stuff that I've done to it.
I don't wanna run from you, but I'm scared to let my feelings loose.
So I have to do a ton of processing to this. Honestly, my opinion, the less work I have to do, the better. Why don't you guys let me know in the comments below which mic you like better, the ECM87 or the SM7B, and with the filter or without the filter, let me know in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, because I drop a ton of content just like this for music producers just like you. And hey, hit that like button as well, because it lets the YouTube algorithm know that people like us like content like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.